And boom, according to that, I am live. Welcome. My name is Hiko Simon. This is Tokyo Tonight. Still got, oh, pardon me. Still got all the DJ stuff hanging off me. Thank you to all the people who are just keeping me company on, I guess, the pre-party. Trying out the new mixer. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I mean, it's super light. It feels like a toy, but it works really, really well. I've still got to get used to some of the stuff on it. I'm going to use the good mixer for the after party. On time. Yes, I am on time. Well, I was already here. I was already set up, so it made it easy. But yeah, no, that was a lot of fun. So thank you to everybody for keeping me company for that. And let me put this away. Yeah, it's been a funny old week, as you can see right away up here. Sachiko Ichikawa, I think, summarized the weather this week pretty much with random all caps in different places. What's up with the weather this week? It was like, I don't know, is it rainy season yet or not in Tokyo? It's kind of like, at least it's not cold anymore. Basically, every day is above 20 degrees. We're not yet up to 30, but I got up to 29 today, even though it was like dark and gloomy and humid. So naturally, I went for a run and just about dehydrated myself. But yeah, Tokyo is cool. It's definitely getting close to rainy season, which is in turn getting close to summer. So not looking forward to that too much. Looking ahead now, there's a few things coming up on the horizon. I tweeted earlier today this. So Victor called me up and he's like, dude, he didn't say dude, I say dude, but he's like, dude, Louis C.K. is coming to Tokyo at the end of March next year, which is like, I can't even comprehend the end of March next year. But he's like, you want to get tickets? So I'm like, yeah. And then he said he'll go buy it. And then he was like, he had a few friends together and he's going to include me so that we could go along together. But then he couldn't like complete the transaction. So I said, I'd do it. So I went and bought a whole bunch of tickets. Including some extras. So I got like basically 2 or 3 tickets. I mean, you know, and I'm sort of like with Victor as well. We're going to sort of advertise for anyone who's around in Tokyo in March 30th, 2026, and wants to go and see Louis C.K. It'd be awesome. You don't get, you know, many stand-up comedians like him coming to town. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'll figure out some way between now and March 30, 2026 to see if I can, maybe if there's people in Tokyo who want to go along, meet Victor and I and some other people. It can be like a meetup, go up. It's sort of Hanami season anyway. So yeah, there'll be a chance for that if there's people around. And actually, if there's people around, if people like overwhelm me with, I might even get some extra tickets if there's like lots of people interested. It'd kind of be cool to do maybe a meetup and go as a group. But if it's a couple of people, I'll at least get the ticket anyway. And certainly I think Victor and I will probably do some sort of get together. People already claiming it. Well, there are multiple tickets anyway. So yeah, exactly. Yuri the best. It's kind of the way that I see it. I wasn't originally planning to that far in the future, but I got the tickets. So yeah, anyway, we'll figure that out, but should be fun. The tickets are 10,000 yen and a bit. So I don't know if I'll do it as a prize sweepstakes or we just have people just come and pay back, but it should be fun anyway. So Louis C.K. He was cancelled a couple of years ago, I believe, for I don't even want to say, but he's very funny. He's one of these very dark but you know, insightful stand-up comics, and he appears to no longer be cancelled. Apparently, if you just pleasure yourself in front of other people, the cancellation period is only about 4 or 5 years, which is cancelable. I mean, again, why do you really care? It seems kind of in character, but anyway, he's back, and so long as you stand a safe distance from him, it should be quite fun to watch him on stage. So anyway, something for next year. Who have we got in the comments? We've got DJ Sunny Side Up in here first, as usual. Great to have you in here, as always, DJ Sunny Side Up. Thanks for letting me know you got a new track out. I really did like playing around with the Happy Hardcore track that you made, and you might have seen in my library here, I've made a whole folder, just like I made a folder for all the tracks that Kerberos Tenshi wants me to play. And I made a folder of your music. So whenever you say, hey, play something by DJ Sunny Side Up, I've got the whole stuff there, all ready to AI mesh and remix. So yeah, anyway, good to have you in the comments. Dan H, yo, great to have you in here. Adria Moware, late at night in Australia, but great to have you here in the chat. Believe in yourself. Thank you for joining the pre-party. Great to have you in here. Todom, there was a pre-party. The pre-party is on the Tokyo Digital Crew channel. There was a pre-party. Sorry that you didn't get. I mean, seriously, just go check. It's always a bit casual, of course, because like if I've got dramas running around at home, whatever, I might not set up at 9:30, but in principle, I try to start 9:30-ish. I'm not being held to a strict time on the pre-party. It's always over on Tokyo Digital Crew, and I was trying out the new mixer, and it was fun. Anyway, tons of people there. So Todom, definitely come and join next week, but there will be a post-party, and the post-party is fun because, of course, you get to choose half the tracks, actually. I like to choose the other half, and I like to try to mash what you guys give me, but there we go. Yuri the best. Greetings, good sir, right back at you. Hello, great to have our man from Kiev in the chat. Hope everything is good in Ukraine at the moment, and that things are, I don't know, not as bad as they could be. Anyway, I hope they're getting better there. But great as always to have you join every week. We've got Shibus in from Panama. We've got people coming in from everywhere. Hey ho, here we go. Greetings from Panama. I hope you're sitting there with a nice coffee. Says Cobra Stenshia, man, in Germany. We've got people everywhere toasting coffees across the world. Great to have you in here. We've got everybody saying hello to everybody. Nesta, glad that you can make it. We're going to play some Fortnite. Are you playing? Sometimes I play Fortnite with Nesta. Nesta is awesome. He's actually got like gaming videos and stuff on his channel. Yeah, I'm digging the Star Wars thing. I am obsessed. I need to get Darth Jar Jar, although I don't know how I'm going to get like 1.2 million XP, other than maybe playing duo with my son, who just basically, every time I play with him, it's always automatic victory royale. So there we go. But yeah, man, you want to play a game, we should play a duo or something while it lasts. It's a short season. PB, great to have you in here. Sir Hiko, I'll take it, unless you mean like to do, Hiko, like sir as in is that a Latin verb? I'm trying to remember. Was that Spanish? I'm all confused at the moment with my verbs and my languages. But anyway, we got Aaron has issued a command that everyone must obey. Hit the like button while you wait, or even while you're watching. I don't object to that. Everybody's hit the button. Good. Lara, great to have you in here. Lara, I think first to claim the ticket. It's like seriously like 9 months away. So who knows what's going to happen, but yeah, if there's other people who are interested anyway, like I said, it'll probably be a meetup with Victor. It'll be like a 2.5 Voyages meetup. Also, we have coming up, I should mention, Victor's already set up. Did I share it here? Yes, we have Softy Papa, Kurt, who I met up with when I was in America. It was great. He took me around in California, set me up in an Airbnb, took me surfing. It was magical. It was awesome. Kurt is an awesome person. He is now down at Shizuoka, retiring in Japan. And Victor and I, we're going to be talking to him on June the 1st. So 2 weeks from now. So we'll be doing that on Victor's channel. Victor's talking about like properly building up Give Me a Break Man again. So we might just do 2.5 Voyages like regularly again. I suggested that, and we'll do it on his channel if we do it. So yeah, I'll try to be the the humorous sidekick entertainment over on on his channel, but it'll be really fun with Softy Papa. And you can see us all there, how Kurt went viral for putting what I believe was, I hope was a dead like Japanese like murder hornet on his nose. And he got featured all over like American news shows and stuff. So Victor tastefully has put a dead murder hornet on all of our faces so that we're all together there. That should be awesome. On time, yes indeed. Well, I mean, the pre-show helps with that stuff. But yeah, we got everybody saying hello to everybody. We got Current Ranked in here. Great to have you in here as always. And I do appreciate the comments, including the comments where you say that I'm talking bullshit, because I need that. I need that because fundamentally, I think I'm right about everything. So feel free to contradict me and make me remember that sometimes. Well, everyone's already calling the auction. It's not an auction. It seriously is a long way off. Dan H, if you're here, I mean, seriously, March 30, if you're interested in seeing Louis C.K., we'll try not to sit within projectile range. And yeah, it should be good. So yeah, Todom, hey, by the way, Todom, we should catch up again as well. It was cool meeting up for lunch that time. And yeah, like I say, that thing, he is indeed a survivor. He survived. Yeah, he survived a lot, come think of it. He's probably going to outlast all of us. Ida in from Denmark. Great to have you in here. Yes, don't sit in the front row. That's a good call there. Chappelle is uncancelable. I believe so. I mean, even when you think of the skit that he got canceled for, I mean, I might get canceled for saying I like the skit that he got canceled for, but the road trip of all of the letters, trying towards liberation and the conversation inside the car. I mean, I get that some people were offended, trans people in particular, felt like he was singling them out for. But he singles out everybody, and it wasn't I didn't interpret it as a mean spirited. I saw it as a supportive, you know, not anti at all. But yeah, people keep trying to cancel him, and I don't know. The thing is, the guy is smart, and he is he's a truth teller. You got to say it, and that's why. Yeah, like I say, and at least as far as I know, he wasn't. He wasn't at any of the P Diddy parties, and he didn't do what Louis C.K. did. So he's still here, and that's good. One of the few good American comedians, says Dan H. There are at least 4, although when you actually look them up, most of them, it turns out they're Canadian. But America has definitely at least 3 good comedians, I'm sure. Atomic, the Atomic Tom. Good to have you in here, indeed. Another person in from Germany. You're in from Germany, right? But great to have you in here as usual. That's right. Oh, that's right. He certainly didn't grab anybody. So I've got all of that. Wow, I've got so many people in the comments. I'm going to speed up so I can get into the topics. But I've got Black Tenka in from Greece. Wow, we've got everybody in here. I love this. By the way, I am going to Europe. Not for the first time, but when I've been to Europe, when I was a backpacker, I told myself, I'm going to go to Romania, and I'm going to get Britain, and like where you can be a backpacker. And when I was studying Spanish, I went and stayed in Madrid while I was studying, so I've been to the edges of Europe. But when everyone was driving off to France and everything, I was sort of like, well, France and Italy and countries like that, I always sort of thought, well, those would be fun if I go there and I have like money. But as a broke like 19-year-old backpacker, I was kind of like, yeah, you know what? While I've got no money, I might as well go to Romania. Where, believe me, when I went to Romania, like $1 would exchange for an amount of cash I couldn't fit inside my money belt. So I think I was right. But the result is that I'm going to go. My dad's in France, in southern France, and I'm going to go travel around. I got friends from my rugby club, my French rugby club. I'm going to go see. So that'll be actually from June 7. So how does that work on the calendar? I'm just looking at it now. So I'm going to be away for June 8 and June 15. I arrive back on the 21st. So there'll be 2 weeks where I might do a stream from Europe, but it'd actually be kind of fun to do a stream where so many people watching this from Europe. If any of you can get I'm going to go around sort of Italy and France pretty much. I'll be on the border in a place called Antibes in the south of France. That's where my stepmother is lived in France forever and speaks French, and they like to go spend the French summers there. It sounds lovely. I've never been, so I'm looking forward to that. So if you're around, I don't think anyone here is actually from France, right? But who knows? I might make it a road trip. We'll see what happens. Anyway, squirrel message incoming. We have the warning. Musashi Mark. Great to see you, Musashi Mark. Wow, we've got so many people in here. But Black Tank, man, I'd love to go to Greece. I should plan a trip just around like where you guys are. I get a great trip out of this. I mean, Kyiv, I don't know if I can actually get there at the moment. I mean, Galatz is right on the border of Ukraine. I've actually been all the way down the Danube across the river from Ukraine, but no, I didn't actually cross over the river, although I was in the river taking a ferry. But yeah. Anyway, Mike Zilla, selling myself. I don't know. I mean, how much would I get? I'm not going to do that. We got people saying, ooh, I don't know what I said, but I'm sure it was deserved. Romania's pretty nice nowadays, yeah, except for the place that my grandparents were from, which is, well, it turns out they were from a nicer place than I thought. I thought they were from Galatz, and I went to Galatz a couple of times, but they're actually from a place, Sulina, which is actually, it's pretty much as close to Ukraine as you can get. It's on the Black Sea. You can only get there by boat. It's a beach resort. So I'm definitely going back there as soon as NATO allows tourists to go back there, which they're not allowed to go to right now. SNL took down his monologue about Kanye and Kyrie Irving. Is that right, Dave Chappelle? I might have missed the squirrel incoming. Let's see the squirrel message. Have the post notes been flying around due to the new, this is the cyber defense law, passed on Friday? The bill looks good, but you don't think Japan has enough trained cybersecurity experts, at least in the government? 1,000,000%. And even if they're in the government, honestly, in companies as well. So what I've seen of the bill, where as soon as you get any sort of an attack, they want you to report it to the government. Well, one, I mean, yeah, this is a squirrel. I can chase this. So Japan's cybersecurity law, Japan, as you may be aware, it doesn't really do secrecy. It doesn't do spying. It doesn't do confidential information very well. So, it didn't even have a Secrets Act. It didn't have like a government official Secrets Act. It was famous. It was actually like Japan's version of the CIA. It has a very small department, like a spy department. And just after I came to Japan in 1999, apparently they were hacked at a full list of all the names and home addresses of every employee of Japan's CIA was posted on the internet back in like 1999. Just for an idea of the ability level of Japan's spy agency, the whole agency got doxed from an Excel sheet. And they didn't even have a secrecy law to protect like state secrets until like a year ago. And that was basically opposed. Now they have the cybersecurity law, which actually does make more sense. And most countries sort of have them. But they're saying if you have a cyber attack, you have to report it to us. But the thing is, most companies, I work in IT, if you're a big company, if you're a company like, if you're, I don't know this for a fact, but if you're like a Rakuten or a company like that in Japan, a big website, you're going to have you're going to be DDoSed like 24 hours a day. Somebody's going to be trying to get in. Someone's going to be trying to, we say penetrate. They're going to be trying to all sorts of things to bring down your site, to screw with it, to get in like 24 hours a day. You can't report every attempt especially if the attacks are mitigated. So I don't know. Again, I work quasi adjacent to this field, and I think the government kind of passed this law where they require this thing, but they don't really know what it means yet. Other countries have similar laws, and everyone, honestly, even in Australia and UK and other more sophisticated countries, they're still figuring it out as they go along. I think fundamentally you do have things like when there's malware going around or there's a known, attack happening or whatever, it's natural that you'd share information and require that companies share that sort of information. And certainly with the ransomware stuff, making it mandatory to report that sort of stuff is maybe a good idea. But again, no one knows how to really combat that stuff very well. So yeah, we'll see. I agree with you, Dan H, that the expertise in the private sector and the government sector, it's really an underfunded area of companies, much more than it should be. And the government as well, but they recognize the need for it and they're doing it. So yeah, Mr. Cordy Chep, good to see you. I did explain the wasp, but that was it. Those are murder hornets, I think. And that's definitely an ooh. Anyway, let's get to the start of the topics soon. Who else we got in here? Boom, accelerating the Yakuza Librarians. We've got all of that. For foreigners in Ukraine, Kyiv is super safe right now. You'd be in more danger at a street market in San Francisco. Can't meet you though, since you're still practicing social distancing. Well, actually, this is another thing. This isn't in my topics, but a guy at work got COVID last week, and apparently in Taiwan, people are even like dying of COVID. And they ran out of vaccines and stuff. So social distancing, not the dumbest thing to do. I would love to go to Kyiv, actually. I think, again, I did the family tree thing for that part of the world. And the part that I know, the last place where I know like an address and everything was in Eastern Romania. But we also have postcards to people with the same family name who used to live in Crimea, and Odessa, which... during the Russian Empire sort of time. But I'd love to like go around that part of the world when it settles down. I'd also love to go to Turkey, by the way. It's another country all around the Black Sea. Actually, would be awesome one day. But for now, let's talk to the not due to COVID. Okay, just social distancing. Well, it's a smart thing to do anyway. Istanbul would be awesome. Anyway, let's dive into the topics because we have lots of people to talk about. We've got Yakuza Librarians. We'll talk about that in a moment. Tenka Ippin, devastating news. Idiots. I was going to say assholes, but I didn't want the video to get like tagged. I think we're a couple of minutes in now, so I can start to throw out profanity in the video. It is marked as adult content anyway, not that sort of adult content, obviously. But yes, don't tip. If you come to Japan, for fuck's sake, don't tip. Please stop it. I mean, seriously, in America right now, it's gone from like 3% or 5% or whatever it was to mandatory 30%. And everyone's like, oh no, what do? We can't stop. And the solution is all these tourists are like tipping in Japan now. And now Japanese are like, wow, these tips are awesome. We should make this a thing. And everyone's like, stop it. So, yeah. By the way, believe in yourself says you have a friend there. Okay. In Turkey, that'd be pretty cool. So, yes, exactly. Don't tip. We'll come to that. We'll go through in order so that I don't I'll lose my mind at the appropriate parts. But yes, so Japan and America are negotiating, and America was like, yeah, we're gonna give Japan the best deal. a beautiful deal, a big deal. But apparently what happened is the Americans just thought that Japan would like just cave instantly. And then they would use the Japan example to go and, make all the other countries like capitulate like Japan did. And Japan sort of read the room, was kind of like, oh, so we're not going to get a fair deal. Like you're just going to screw us. You're going to grab us by the body parts. Well, how about we just talk about this for a long time? How about you sit in that lovely corner office facing the window, and we talk about this, we very seriously over many consultations. So basically now the deal is kind of like the negotiations with Trump have like immediately, as soon as Japan sort of realized that America was not serious about actually doing a good deal for Japan, they're like, thank you, Ida. Listen to Ida, everybody. And Sainted Sir, great to have you on the chat. So, basically, the negotiations are kind of, it started off with a trade negotiator who had never done a trade negotiation before, showed up in the White House wearing a MAGA hat, and like, we're going to be best buddies, thinking he was going to get a good deal for Japan. But no, apparently America wanted to impose an especially shitty deal on Japan and then make everybody else do the same deal. So Japan is like, how about we mull on that for a long time? So that's happening. Other random news I just saw today. Japan is actually, Asuka Pharmaceutical is applying to sell an emergency contraceptive pill without a prescription. May or may not happen. You may know the history of this, that until the 1990s, until just before I came to Japan, the pill was illegal in Japan, which is funny because it's not like Japan's like a country that bans contraception. But in Japan, the gynecologist industry, or whatever you call it, doctors, were opposed to allowing the pill in Japan because they thought, the hormone, I mean, of course, there's bad effects of pumping yourself full of hormones as a contraceptive thing, but they sort of said it's risky on Japanese women in particular, and it would cut into our enormous abortion business that we make so much money from. So, why don't we just deal with it then? It'd be much more healthy for women to, have unwanted pregnancies and in Japan, an enormous amount of abortions, rather than to have something dangerous like the contraceptive pill, which I think New Zealand, in contrast, was one of the first countries to legalize it. So it was like, in New Zealand, whether this is good or bad, I don't know, but like seriously, 100% of women, at least when I was living there, were like on the pill. It's like, it's kind of considered like a feminist thing in New Zealand as well. Coming to Japan and finding out that it was illegal in Japan until the late 90s. Japan and North Korea, the only two countries in the world that they were the last two countries to outlaw the contraceptive pill. So now, I mean, at least things are moving along where you can not only get the pill in Japan, but you might even be able to get emergency contraceptive pill, which again is eating into the enormous, abortion industry in Japan, which is a real thing. They were literally lobbying to protect their abortion business. There's no Christian, or very, very little sort of Christian morality in the debate here. It's not that you don't get the same sort of, there is no abortion debate in Japan. It's like the death penalty. It's, without going into that in too much detail, but it's literally the gynecologist like lobbying for their wages pretty much. So anyway, we'll see, but it'll late, but who knows, they might get there. New internet slang. Honestly, I read this and most of these were pretty familiar. Maybe I can open this up and you can sort of see, like gachi is just like go for it, people would sort of say. Emoi, emotional. Yeah, if I heard it, I would never say these words, but I definitely get it. Yoki, I might even say yoki is actually old-fashioned way of saying good, but apparently it's being brought back again. It's got it says nostalgic nuance. See, I'm right. I know Japanese. Egui. Lately, egui kind of used to mean like grotesque, but now it's being used for like everything. It's like yabai. It's being both applied good and bad. So insanely good looking. Visual egui. Okay. I mean, if I saw that, I understand now that they use it literally like yabai, like it's like a word which means terrible, but it's like bad meaning bad, not bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good. It's like Michael Jackson's bad before we found out he was really bad. Egui has got this sort of bitter taste. Is that what it means? Bitter taste. I mean, it just means sort of gross, but it now means like grossly, awesomely good looking and stuff like that. So yeah, all of that. Byode. I mean, that literally is like in a second. So, it means rapidly. Giri is like giri, a giri de ita. I got there just in time. I mean, that's pretty understandable. So all of this stuff. Cancel kawaii? Kaiwai? What's this? Okay, this one I don't know. But anyway, new words in Japanese. Learn them if you want to go hang with the kids. I should probably learn them. I don't play Fortnite in Japanese. I tried speaking to Darth Vader. There's an AI Darth Vader, and I tried speaking to him in Japanese. And I don't know, Darth Vader's kind of racist. He wouldn't, he's like, I'm not interested in your silly foreign languages. I'm like, dude, there are like 120 million people here. But anyway, yeah, literally, Dan H asking about the cybersecurity law. And I kind of read how it works, and it's like the laws in other places. But again, working in this industry, where including the reporting obligations, I don't really understand exactly how it would work. I think sometimes it's easy, but you just can't report everything, right? So Dan H, the Japan, I missed this story. Japan Fair Trade Commission warned 15 hotel operators. Oh, I did hear about this because they were actually doing a cartel. But like recently, like business hotels used to, like the whole time I've been in Japan, even since like 1995 when I came to Japan backpacking, hotels were like, if you want a business hotel, it's like 9,000 yen, 8,000 yen or 9,000 yen. And until like seriously, like 10 years ago, you could still rely, if you were like showing up in some country town, you needed to get a business hotel for the night. There'd be a simple basic room, there'd be a TV, there'd be a unit bath, but you'd get 9,000 yen, a decent business hotel. Those things are now like, you can't get hotels sometimes for like less than like 3-4 times that. Even 60,000 yen a night, some places now, until you like regular hotels, not even fancy ones. So yeah, apparently these cartels in Tokyo are being accused of gradually like coordinating prices. They were literally coordinating prices and having meetings, but they were doing it for, in fact, 5 years. But I think the cartel that got picked up by JFTC was actually going on for like 25 years. So it's like they were literally doing it in like 0.1% increments over this time, but they were coordinating prices, which you're not allowed to do. So they definitely got in trouble for that. Cybersecurity law, we'll see how it goes. We'll see if they can sort of figure it out. Interesting criticisms at the moment. I've talked a lot about the rice problem, just not that there's a shortage of rice, just that the government, which basically controls the production and distribution of rice, has contracted specific contractors to distribute the rice, who it just appointed on a tender basis. And those distributors have figured out that if they create a shortage crisis, they can like boost the prices of their rice. They've doubled the price of their rice by just sitting on it, not sending it out to supermarkets. And the governments are like, please send the rice to the supermarkets. And again, I've talked about Japan's North Korean agricultural management system. This doesn't work any better than when Stalin was controlling the distribution and sale and pricing of wheat. You know, this is what happens. The rice isn't getting around. So the governor of Osaka said this week, maybe just the government should just give all of the rice over to Rakuten and Amazon, and people can order it online. Other people just pointing out that the government just let people order it directly from the government and cut out the distributors who are the ones causing the shortages and so on. So we'll see what happens. But the government's under a lot of pressure, and they're putting out orders now to order the distributors to distribute the rice, which again is literally like what Stalin did when he wasn't like shooting people. Eat Me Raw, that's a delightful name. Eat Me Raw. Your usual hotel for the past decade has almost tripled in price. Yeah, well, exactly. And the thing is, and that's one thing for tourists who are coming into Japan and are okay with paying, where you're paying the same rates as overseas. But inflation in Japan, there has been inflation, but it's been like 2%. So, and wage inflation has been less than inflation. It's by 1%. So for everything suddenly to be 300% and 400% more expensive, it means that Japanese people and people earning money in Japan like me kind of like, we can't book hotels anymore. And they're even talking because of this about setting up like 2-tier pricing for locals. Sadiq, I miss you there, Sadiq. Good to have you in the chat as always. Thank you for joining. And Eat Me Raw, I feel uncomfortable saying that too many times, although that's delightful looking ice cream. But good to have you in the chat as well. Just what I'm talking about. Sainted Sir, thank you. Used to stay in Ningyocho for 8,500 yen per night. And I'll bet you it wasn't fancy, but it was an adequate hotel. And you could do that sort of thing. But Aaron's saying Palace for your clients was, you mean the Palace Hotel, was 35,000 yen last year for a base room. Now it's 66,000 yen. And that's a nice hotel. And they have upgraded the hotel. But yeah, 35,000 yen was like the nicest sort of, hotel sort of price. That's like the Four Seasons, but now they go up into the hundreds of thousands for a hotel room, which, just people in Japan can't really afford. But the thing is, the US dollar is so powerful at the moment. I actually saw Where did I see it? I think I saw a Radio New Zealand site talking about the places where your New Zealand dollar goes the furthest right now, based on the last 10 years of currency change. And Japan was the top. It goes 8% further now than it did 10 years ago, which is depressing but true. So again, I'll continue to say Japan's being ruined by all the tourists, but just between the people watching this and me, we're like a secret club. You should totally be coming to Japan if you have non-Japanese money. As someone with Japanese money, I'm going to have to suck it up when I go overseas, but that is what it is. But there we go. Kerberos Tenshi found a cheap hotel room, so it can be done. I think if you get away from the tourist trail, you can still do it. So 4 Yakuza members were arrested for having an office too close to a library. So here's the thing. In Japan, I mean, there are pros and cons to actually legally recognizing the existence of organized crime syndicates and having specific rules. Basically, they sort of recognize them where they force them to register, and they can arrest them for being Yakuza that don't register with the government that they're Yakuza. So they all sort of register. But they have all of these restrictions. They can't use mobile phones. They can't open bank accounts, and there are actually specific zoning restrictions where there's apparently some sort of rule that you are not allowed to have a Yakuza office within 200 meters, I think it is, of a library. I mean, so Yakuza offices are only permitted outside of 200-meter radius of libraries. But apparently the Sumiyoshikai, which back in the 80s and 90s, I think they're like an Osaka-based group. They were like had a major like internal war, they were like Takushu style. They were like shooting people and throwing grenades and stuff. They're like serious. I mean, they're probably, you don't hear so much about them now, but apparently they had an office in Kiyose district that was 90 meters away from a library, 295 feet for people who use freedom units. And as a result, the 4 people, I guess, who arranged the rental were arrested for operating a Yakuza hideout. I mean, is it really a hideout if its address is actually registered? But yeah. So in America, whatever, you think that the triads and the Cosa Nostra and everything, they all of course probably keep their heads down. But in Japan, they're polite enough to register with the government, and they get arrested if they're too close to. I mean, maybe the police are just building libraries in order, as a sting operation. Who knows? I would think if you're building that close to a library, I mean, I'll tell you what, if I was borrowing books from a library 90 meters away from a Yakuza office, I would bring those books right back. I wouldn't want to be dealing, you can bet. I would just have to assume that they would be like outsourcing the penalty fee collection. I wouldn't want any part of that for, the hungry little caterpillar. I wouldn't want my door being kicked in. Maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe that's why they had to stay so far away. Yeah, that is a thing that happens in Japan. Apparently, if you're a gangster, if any of you become gangsters, don't open an office too close to a library. And what are they doing? They're not supposed to. I mean, literally, they're not allowed. I think they're not allowed to like watch NHK. They're not allowed to have mobile phones. I mean, they have them, but they have to sort of get around all these things. Not allowed to have a bank account. They have to do everything in cash, which itself is also now becoming a problem for other sorts of things. So it's pretty tough. I have had one experience where I've knowingly talked to someone who was a gangster. He was a friend who grew up with a friend of mine from New Zealand, and we're going out for dinner, and he was like, "Hey, ask me anything." And I think I've told this story before. I asked him what exactly he asked me what I do for my job. And I described being, at the time I was an IT consultant, and I asked, well, what do you do for a living? And he was like, I apply psychological pressure to people, was his answer. So yeah, that was interesting. But he spent a lot of the dinner conversation complaining at the discrimination against him because he was a gangster. So that was tough. I think he was actually, in fairness, he was actually a Korean gangster as well. So there actually was like real discrimination on top of that. But anyway, he certainly wasn't, he had a Ferrari, so it couldn't all be bad, but he certainly couldn't park that Ferrari too close to a library, I would assume. So there you go. Apparently some people have found a new tourist spot where you can take a photo of going up a stairway to Mount Fuji, and apparently all the tourists now, sometimes like 1,000 people a day. This is in Shizuoka. Another spot. Locals are complaining about the sound of voices in the morning, disturbing them. The government's supposed to be. Apparently, the government was like promoting the spot as like a great photographic spot, so you can come. Um, yeah, I wouldn't say that to his face. But yeah, yeah. No, I mean, it's actually seriously, it's extremely inconvenient being a gangster in Japan. Like all the paperwork. Seriously, it's not easy. So yeah, show some consideration for the gangster. But anyway, so the locals were apparently upset at suddenly having all these foreigners like standing. We're not talking Takeshita Dori yet. The town wasn't overwhelmed with tourists, but apparently they didn't like the locals who didn't like the sound of happiness. Complained of people laughing and talking early in the morning. So there you go. Lysander 45 pointing out, I'd say somewhat accurately, that the Yakuza have basically been legislated into a slow death. It's like reducing marijuana consumption by legalizing it, I suppose you could say. It's where you literally, you like legalize it and tax it to death. As has happened with cigarettes, for example. I mean, when I left New Zealand, I don't know how it is now, but people smoked more weed than cigarettes, and people would say, "Oh, I'm really conscious of my health, so I only smoke weed." I think the government advertising was very effective one way on the anti-smoking commercials that were everywhere in New Zealand, but to the point that they actually believed that smoking weed was healthier. I mean, without getting unfiltered smoke, just that from a lung cancer perspective, I'm not sure you could say that it was better. But certainly with Yakuza, the government has, I think, took the approach of that's right. I mean, it's funny, they can have pachinko parlors all over the country that they pretend are not illegal casinos. So some things they allow to remain fictions. But the Yakuza, yeah, they said, hey, let's just recognize that they're there and make their lives miserable. That's what they've done. And unfortunately, it means that Jake Adelstein just can't really write so many books about it anymore. But Tokyo Vice they did really well, the book and the TV series. So good for him on that. But anyone wanting to come and write a sequel, I don't think... I literally, what are they doing? They're staking out the library, looking for gangsters nearby. Who knows what they're doing? Anyway, most female executives, which I think is still like less than like 5% in Japan, doubt that Japan will hit the 30% goal for women in top jobs. The government set a target of 30% women in the top jobs, and yet the government itself, that has the ability to choose whoever they want on the party list that represent in parliament. None of them, but especially the government that made the rule that companies have to have 30%, senior executives as women. Apparently in most OECD countries, the number is 38%. The government itself, on its own like selection, they have complete discretion to choose whoever they want for their party lists, and they don't choose more than 10%. So why are companies going to take them seriously? So I'd say that's an informed opinion that is not going well. Tenka Ippin. I saw Aaron asking, what's Tenka Ippin? Let me explain what Tenka Ippin. So first of all, I don't eat. So this is one of these things where I don't want it to go away, but I'm probably part of the reason it's going away. Ramen is terrible for you. And as I have learned that things that you eat can directly cause you to feel like crap and to have a terrible like quality of life and cause you to fail your Kenko Shindan, and learning the joy of just like eating meat and vegetables and drinking water and not drinking alcohol, and basically, like realizing that you take a week off your life with every bowl of ramen pretty much. As much as I love ramen, I don't eat it so much anymore. On special occasions, I'll go eat it. And when I'll go eat it, while there are some special like shokunin, some artisanal ramen places that I like to go to near where I live, if I'm going for a chain, if I'm feeling like, screw it, I've just drank a whole bunch of alcohol, I'm going to have a terrible hangover, I need good ramen, or I'm just like craving ramen, Tenka Ippin is my go-to. It's a Kyoto chain. Kyoto ramen is not that famous. Normally with ramen, you're talking like shoyu ramen, miso ramen, tonkotsu ramen, and which is pork ramen. Tenka Ippin is from Kyoto, and they actually specialize in really thick chicken broth. It's like chicken gravy with garlic in it. It's amazing. It's like basically eating garlic and gravy and noodles, and I always get like the kimchi, the butter kimchi teishoku, like rice with it, and it's amazing. and I even drink all the gravy soup in it because it's so great. The article Unseen Japan talking about why are they closing, and it sort of points out that the franchise model that they have means that the menus change from place to place, as does the quality. And apparently people online are pointing out that just because you're going to a Tenka Ippin doesn't mean you're getting the same Tenka Ippin you get from another place, which is true. There's some variation on it, but the basic noodles that I always get the noodles like nice and firm, and I get I love Tenka Ippin. But at the same time, I know that if I go there, I'm going to be shortening my life by a couple of weeks. And and I've gone and done like kickboxing after eating ramen, and you literally are sweating gravy afterwards. It's not pleasant. So I don't eat it very often, but it is my favorite. The flavor is just strong and thick, and that's what I like. So yeah, Quentin Rankin, that's it. There are times in one's life where you feel like I'm okay taking. I need the ramen so bad. When you get a craving for ramen, it's my go-to, but I don't go there as often anymore. So they're not all closing down, but because of the lack of popularity, people aren't going there so much. Apparently, like a third of the Tenka places in Tokyo have shut down. There's a couple in places that I regularly go to, so I'll have to go and make sure that they're still there. I like the one in Akasaka Mitsuke that I sometimes go to after kickboxing. There's one near work. I work in the Meguro area. There's one there. I feel like I've got to go support them now. Anyway, at least take a couple, keep them alive. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, Tenka Ippin. If you come to Tokyo and you want to try ramen, of course, if you actually want to check out artisanal ramen, I do recommend Mensho, which is also a chain, although every one of the stores is totally different. Those are amazing artisanal. Like they're a fancy ramen, but if you just want like a basic like ramen that you can walk into in most parts of Tokyo or Japan even, check out the Kyoto Ramen Tenka Ippin. It's my recommendation, and they could use your support by the sounds of it. Make ramen great again. Damn straight. Believe in yourself. So we've got Kurt Bell coming up. Apparently, yeah, Gaijin Mummy, who must be protected at all costs, is talking about. So somebody's gushing about Japanese culture here. Somebody who was reading after a couple. So there's something so quietly majestic about Japanese culture that the deeper you immerse yourself in it, the more you begin to wonder, am I in the wrong country? The expression effing weeb came up in my head, but we're not talking anime. So we're talking after a couple of weeks of practicing the rituals from a little book of Japanese contentment, I caught myself Googling how to apply for Japanese citizenship. Okay. From the way that tea is poured, how a street remains spotless after a festival. There were festivals today and the streets were spotless. Or how silence is used not as a void, but as a gift. Or shunning. I mean, it can be used for shunning. I've dealt with that. When they're really pissed off, when you piss them off a lot, they go silent. It's really, really helpful, actually. It's kind of nice. Japan doesn't just live, it lives with intention. So they've done this book, and they talk about she weaves together centuries-old traditions like kansha, which is appreciation, wabi-sabi, which I think of as wasabi, but it's wabi-sabi, and shikata ga nai, acceptance. Shikata ga nai is shoganai. It means what you gotta do. Concepts that of course only exist in Japan. Giving up powerlessly and showing appreciation are concepts that don't really exist anywhere else, and that you should just sign up for citizenship immediately. Gaijin Mummy's take is that she'd love to see a reality show where they get people taken in by this sort of stuff, stick them into Saitama in a share house in their new entry-level jobs at large Japanese corporations and see what happens to them. And that is exactly it. Peter Nankara, the name of a new ramen shop. It's worth a week. Damn straight. That is an excellent name. That is an excellent name for an artisanal ramen place. Yeah, actually, that is good. There was actually on the way to Yamanashi, I remember by the highway, there's a ramen place with a huge sign saying Japan's worst ramen place. It's like Nihon Ichiban Mazui Ramen Ya. And the car park is always full of cars. And apparently, I'm like, why would anyone go to a restaurant with a huge sign saying that it's the worst ramen in Japan? And I was going past with a friend who's like, oh yeah, that place is famous. I was like, have you ever been? I was like, no, but my friend went there. I was like, how was it? It was pretty bad. So there is the embracing the negative side and making a business off it. It can work, but there we go. I like this, the Yamazaki Baking Hokkaido's Cheese Steam Cake. If you like that, you can get a whole bag of it. I'd probably crash tackle a person with this on their bag and try to eat their bag, probably get arrested. So I hope I never see this, but it's a good idea anyway. Um, Japan originated the concept of oh yeah, Japan originated the concept of I give up. So there you go. So yeah, I got like raging support for my comment. Terrible news. Overseas tourists are trying to leave tips, and so much so that Japanese businesses have started accepting them and even setting up tip boxes. Stop it. Stop it. America, seriously, like take a look around and tell me if you think that you're doing everything correctly regarding tips, and if this is really something that you need to impose on the rest of us. I get the shame and humiliation culture in Japan, in America, associated with it, but please don't start this shit. So yeah, I mean, it's funny, these people are figuring out that if they leave a box and they like print out this sign on it, people will just fill it with lots of money, and now and now everybody's like doing this. No, don't do it. Seriously, remember, tipping is related in part to the post-slavery thing, where people couldn't pay them full wages right away. So like they would let ex-slaves do jobs like for below minimum wage and allow people to pay like charitable donations. It was basically a way to enable the shadowed continuation of slavery as the whole origin of tipping. So basically, if you tip, you are supporting slavery. You are against the emancipation of people. That's the way that I see it. Of course, I accept tips. You can pay tips to me. That's totally different, Aaron. I'm not from America, and I'm not a slave. So it is okay. But in general, it's wrong. You are all supporters of slavery, and you should just stop supporting. But seriously, like the way that it's gone in America now, like where you literally, like you go up to like I don't know, like to a shop and you buy a pen, and the machine says, "Do you want to pay a 30% tip?" And I want to say fuck you, but there again, I'm also worried that the machines will remember that I didn't pay it a tip, and when the machines take over, they're gonna like have me on a list of people who didn't pay tips to them and hunt me down. So I pay the tip, and I stroke the machine and hope that it remembers me positively. So yeah, I don't know. I'm like, don't spread this culture, seriously. And arrest and deport. I believe straight to jail. That's the only. That's I do love that whole skip, the straight to jail skip. I like how in was it in Venezuela that he was saying, he was like, yes, we put people in jail. In my country, if you undercook chicken, straight to jail, or if you overcook fish, also straight to jail. Undercook, overcook. I was like, that actually makes sense. It's actually, we should do that as well. But tipping, we should add on to the list of things that you should go straight to jail for. These people are Canadians. Like seriously, these people are from Canadians, and they're talking about like they want a tip. Like, please. I mean, if Canadians are tipping, I'm sorry, we're just going to call you Americans and treat you as such. Aaron, you're killing me. You're killing me, Aaron. Stop it. Okay. So again, I'll make an exception. When you're next in Tokyo, I'm gonna do the proper thing and not pay a tip. I'm gonna buy you a coffee with that. So yes, you're gonna get more than that back. That's an investment. That's as good as money back. So that's how we'll treat that. But there we go. Lots of podcasts now. There's like a podcast chart on YouTube. Interesting. Look at this, Joe Rogan, #1. Maybe since I've got the same hairstyle, maybe I should do a Joe Rogan type thing. Who knows? In fact, where is it now? It has a chart. Does this go to it? It does. These are all like, honestly, I don't really follow any of these. A lot of these I know, I said the ones that I recognize are mostly like political stuff, which I'm like totally not interested in. But what do I reckon? Diary of a CEO. I sort of watch less now because I've got too many backed up sort of things. But Tucker Carlson, like seriously, is he that popular? Oh my God. Like seriously. Lex Friedman, I also listen to less at the moment, but he has some good topics. Philip DeFranco, I do watch he does short shows, so I can watch them on the way to work, and I do watch the Philip DeFranco show, and I enjoy it. That's really the only one on this list. But with your help, I will one day be on this list myself. And who knows? I might get more of those tips, and I'll just completely change my position in that case. South Korea's conservative candidate for president apologizes for that whoopsie of imposing martial law on the country. That was totally their bad. Sorry, no more martial law. Cross my heart. No more, no more martial law. Japanese Joe Rogan. Who knows? I mean, I'm gonna have to eat more creatine and lift some weights, I think. But Musashi Mark wants a tip. We all want to go to America and work for below minimum wage, and there you go. So Fortnite coming back to mobile, hopefully in Japan. Apple's facing penalties in Japan, apparently. Is going to ban them, prevent them from blocking the Epic Store. So that'll be pretty awesome. Nesta, if you're in there, we'll be back to playing Fortnite on mobile soon, which I like playing Fortnite on the train when we were allowed to do it. So that'll be awesome. 30% of local governments in Japan are using generative AI in the workplace. I think they're counting like Taro-kun in the corner, like ChatGPTing stuff. But even that, actually, the general attitude of Japanese towards AI is still pretty positive. That said, I don't really know in terms of official and proper, large scale implementations. But it's interesting that the technology is being relatively embraced here. Eleanor G, she's in New Zealand, and sometimes I look up the Radio New Zealand news just to see what the big news stories in New Zealand are, just to check if the country is okay, if there's anything I need to worry about, any upcoming topics in the election or anything I need to know about. And I like to check. And apparently the big news in New Zealand the other day was a once-in-a-lifetime cow has been inducted to our Hall of Fame, because apparently it was like its DNA or something was used for breeding 100 awesome cows. And I mean, what are the top stories in New Zealand right now? The reason that this is a Japan Today, a Tokyo Tonight, and not a New Zealand Cow of the Year special is, what have we got? The public is worried about creeping privatization of health, the top story in New Zealand. We've got the Pope warning against exploitation. Well, okay, news from Italy, that's good. Heavy rainstorms in the North Island. Rain in New Zealand, look out for it. I mean, literally half these stories aren't even these are world news. Of the top 4 stories, 2 of them are world news. The number 3 story in New Zealand is that a kayak fisher brushes off sharks to land a huge snapper. So that sounds a bit like a fishing tale to me, but there we go. The 4th story in New Zealand news, this is the National News Service, and this is like NHK News in New Zealand. More people worried about the impact of technology on privacy. Survey. So this is where seeing that there's a cow of the cow of a lifetime award being given is literally big news in New Zealand, and it is a good looking cow. What can I say? But it's also partly why I moved to Japan. Latest party political rankings: LDP 26%, the largest opposition party, the Constitutional Democratic Party, is 7.6%. And everyone else, I mean, we've got the other Democratic Party, 7.2%, but basically everybody else is below 3%. But even the government, which there's a majority disapproval rating at the moment, 26.4%. But none of the above, we hate everybody, 38.2%. So basically, people hate everybody in Japan. We're about to have upper house elections in Japan and Tokyo elections. And people have actually done this. People have actually realized that no one in particular, 38.2%, people have registered political parties in Japan and called them the no one in particular party, hoping that people would select it for votes. I don't think anyone ever running for none of the above has ever actually been elected in Japan, but I think they got votes. So yeah. What else have we got here? I'm gonna accelerate a little bit. I found out the other day that you can get a high-speed ferry from Tokyo to Shimoda, which, other than being the #1 highest risk of annihilation from tsunamis in Japantown, they regularly have tsunamis 100 feet tall that destroy the entire town, which is why you can get beach houses there really cheap. And all the foreigners have beach houses down there, at least the ones that know. They've got some of the nicest beaches in Japan, cheap crayfish. It is one of my favorite places to go. And it takes about 3 hours to get down there by train, but you can go there by ferry for 7,500 yen in 2 hours, 10 minutes, faster than the train. I had no idea about this. So, and plus, I don't know if it's better or worse to go down there in a ferry if a tsunami hits. I think actually, because when the tsunamis came in Tohoku, all the fishermen, you think that they're like rush inland, but no, they rush for their boats and they try to get their boats as far out to sea as possible, because the further you are out at sea, the more the waves just sort of go up and down. They don't like form into a big, like, cartoon type wave. They don't do that until they're breaking near the shore. So everyone in boats out at sea, I mean, not everyone, but you've got a better chance of getting through it if you're close to the shore, getting into a boat and going out towards the tsunami actually. So from that perspective, I mean, I don't know about a high-speed hydrofoil. You'd probably turn into an airplane for a while, I imagine. But maybe from a tsunami perspective, you'd be better off in a ferry than you would on a coastal train anyway. And it sounds like fun. So hydrofoils, apparently they're doing that. So that is kind of cool. What else have we got? Someone broke the first rule of Conclave Club, saying that the Pope got 75% of Conclave. But yeah, that's about it. Oh yeah, Oita's changing its name, the name of its airport, to Hello Kitty Airport. So apparently that's where the Hello Kitty resort in Japan is, down in Oita. I have no idea why it's there. Oita's like famous for onsen. Kyushu's awesome. It's a great place to go. Oita's like, it's beside the part of Kyushu which has all the grenade attacks, but they don't have them. They're pretty safe and peaceful there. And apparently they're going for it. They're just turning their whole airport into Hello Kitty. Just kind of subtle marketing to Hello Kitty fans that please come here. We're so lonely, pretty much. So I mean, there are people, Japanese people included. By the way, Hello Kitty, not a cat. You remember this? I lost my mind when I heard this years ago when Sanrio announced that Hello Kitty all this time is actually a little girl from England, represented in the cartoons by a cat, but is actually not a cat. Probably a good thing. I'm allergic to cats. Maybe I should go. I don't know, but it's not really my bag. So yeah, and you might be booking some trips to Hello Kitty Airport in Oita sometime. I mean, it is actually a lovely part of the country. So I would recommend anyway. If you're traveling around Japan, there's worse places you can go than Oita. But there you go. So those are the topics I had for tonight. Recapping, 2 more weeks, and then I'm doing a little bit of a trip, and I'll figure out what I'm doing in Europe and whatever. But if you're anywhere near Antibes in southern France, might even be able to say hello. We'll see. But I don't know if anyone here is. But anyway, I'll definitely do more trips like that. It's my first time. I can't wait for it. So I'll do a little bit of a break then. But before I go away, we've got 2.5 Voyages on Victor's channel with Kurt Bell. That's going to be awesome. And coming up like right in the near future, March 30th, 2026, Louis C.K. in Tokyo. If you're interested, let me know. I have multiple tickets right now, and I might even be able to get more tickets and make a group. I think that's kind of part of the plan with Victor. Maybe do a meetup, go out to a comedy show. Should be pretty cool. So let me know. I'll figure out what to do with that. Remember to like the video. Remember, these videos are not monetized because I'm just desperate for your approval through likes. So please validate me. Do that. I'm going to go to the after party and let you guys pick the music because, yeah, I think you're sometimes better. You guys pick great music. Seriously, I'm like half of my shopping every week lately are tracks that you guys pick. So come and teach me good music. Let me mash up with it. It's good fun. And we'll do that as an after party. If you can't make it, I'll see you next week. And yeah, have a good one, everyone. Follow the link that Aaron has. It's on Tokyo Digital Crew. Go check that out. And we have some people can't speak French. It seems. Quint Ranked, you haven't watched it yet, but Paolo is has a video on being a politician in Japan. Okay, that sounds interesting. I should check that out. I'm aware of his channel. I think I'm subscribed to it. Hello Kitty Airport. That'd be pretty cool. They might end up in Hong Kong. That could be a problem. Sonic, Hainan to Sonic Airport too. That's kind of cool. I mean, I'm not against this idea. I'm not against a Street Fighter Shoryuken Airport or something like that. They could totally do that. I can also only swear in French. I played rugby and I thought I'd become fluent in French, and all I can say is putain, merde, all that stuff. It's a fun language. Eric Bailey, I can start the show now. Good to have you in here. I'll see you all next week. See you in the after party. Boom. Peace. Look at that. Crazy on time. See you soon. And thanks everyone for joining and commenting and liking. Ending show.